This video is on childhood emotional neglect. First, we're going to talk about what childhood emotional neglect, or CEN, is and its effects. We'll explore signs to know whether or not you might have experienced CEN. And then, of course, we'll end by talking about how to begin to heal. So what is childhood emotional neglect? This results when in childhood, our parent figures or our caregivers were not consistently there for us emotionally. This means we had to deal with most, if not all, of our emotions alone. Often this is unintentional, though sometimes it's connected to our culture, our society, maybe even gendered beliefs around emotions in general. In my own experience, my parents definitely weren't intentionally emotionally neglectful around me. However, they were distracted themselves. They had their own trauma, their own stress, and their own worry that they were tending to. So as a byproduct, they weren't able to be there to emotionally support me and my needs. So what are the effects of CEN? CEN results in emotional overwhelm. When we don't have a parent that's attuned to us, that's safe, that can help us understand and cope with our emotions, we end up feeling completely overwhelmed by those emotions. We don't know what to do with them. We also sometimes are given the belief, as a result of this happening consistently, that our emotions aren't actually worthy of attention or that they don't matter. If no one's showing up when we're in emotional distress over time, that's what you're going to be left believing. So what are some signs that you might have experienced CEN? You feel confused about how you feel. You might feel disconnected, unfulfilled, or empty, maybe even just numb to your emotions overall. You probably have difficulty asking for help, especially around emotional matters or when you're emotionally in need of support. You might not even be able to identify that need, or you might be too fearful to ask someone else to show up in support of you. You probably feel uncomfortable or unsettled in social scenarios. When we're not connected to our emotions and when they're happening inside of us, it's really hard to feel comfortable in our own skin. Definitely hard to feel comfortable in our own skin in a public experience. You probably feel critical or mad at yourself often. All of those feelings don't go anywhere, and that disconnection can build up the anger and the resentment that we feel then about ourselves. You might not feel like you fit in at all with family, with friends. I know for many years, while I had a lot of family and friends around me, I never really felt like I fit in, like I was understood, like I was connected to them. Emotions are a lot of the time how we connect to others. So if we don't feel safe connecting with our own emotions or bringing them to the table in terms of a relationship, we're probably not going to feel like we fit in because a whole aspect of ourself is being suppressed or avoided. Secretively, a lot of times when all of this is happening all of the time, we probably wonder what's wrong with us. I know for a very long time I wondered, why don't I feel connected to the world around me, to the relationships that I'm in? And a lot of us harbor that concern secretively. We worry that it's something wrong with us that's creating all of this disconnection from our emotional world. So how do we begin to heal or to do the work? We need to practice connecting with and validating our own emotions. If we didn't have someone to allow space for our emotions in childhood, we need to be that person and that space for ourselves now. 2 other YouTube videos you might find helpful for this are how to feel your feelings and how to connect with your emotions. So I'd like to hear from you all listening. Is this new information, or have you heard about childhood emotional neglect before? And if you have, share your experience in the comments.